Turkey was previously a member of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program since its inception 2 decades ago. Apart from purchasing up to 100 stealth fighters for its air force, Ankara will also have a lucrative role in producing hundreds of parts for the supply chain of the advanced fighter. However, the United States removed Turkey from the JSF program and barred it from buying any of the jets after Ankara purchased the advanced S-400 air defense missile from Russia. Turkey's ambitious fifth-generation TFX stealth fighter project is unlikely to be completed in the 2030s at the earliest. Now having missed the opportunity to acquire fifth-generation fighter jets for at least a decade, Turkey now needs an interim solution of Generation 4.5. Here too, Ankara may have a problem. The backbone of Turkey's fighter fleet consists of 270 F-16s, mostly Block 30, 40/50ths. Without substantive upgrades or even replacements, these aircraft will begin to become obsolete by the end of the decade. The United Arab Emirates landmark agreement to procure 80 state-of-the-art Dassault Rafale multirole fighter jets from France provides the Emirati Air Force with a very resilient interim solution until it finally accepts delivery of the F-35 Lightning II or other fifth-generation fighter. Turkey, on the other hand, still needs a similar interim solution and may find itself in trouble if the US refuses to sell the advanced F-16s and modernization kits that Ankara has recently requested. Dassault Aviation was excited in early December after reaching an agreement to sell 80 Rafale jets and 12 transport helicopters to the UAE for $19 billion. Dassault said the deal was the largest ever obtained by the French combat aviation industry, and its CEO Ric Trappier even called it the most important contract ever obtained by the French military aviation industry. For the UAE, the deal is also very significant. This is the most advanced fighter aircraft that Abu Dhabi has ordered in the last 20 years, the last of which was the procurement of an advanced fleet of F-16s at the turn of the century. In the late 1990s, the UAE ordered nearly 80 Block 60 F-16s for $8 billion. The deal was significant at the time because it marked the first time the United States had sold a better plane abroad than one its own forces flew. The Rafales purchased by the UAE will also provide its Air Force with highly advanced and formidable combat aircraft that will likely enable its Air Force to deal with threats on and over modern battlefields for years to come. France sells latest version of Rafale to UAE, F4. The French Air Force relies on the highly advanced Rafale to serve as a temporary solution until it can field a European-developed sixth-generation stealth fighter in the next 15 to 20 years. Neither France nor Germany buys the F-35. Since France had to wait nearly 2 decades before European stealth fighters could enter service, its armed forces are betting that temporarily adding network sensors and weapons to the Rafale's superior kinematic performance and robust electronic warfare system will keep the agile jet relevant on the battlefield. An era of proliferating stealth aircraft and long-range surface-to-air missiles, wrote military aviation analyst Sebastian Roblin. Roblin also noted that the Rafale F4 introduces additional network-centric warfare capabilities and data logistics similar to those of the F-35 Lightning, enabling patrolling Rafales to build a more accurate picture of the battlespace by pooling their sensors over a secure network, and even exchange data using the new satellite communications antenna. By the end of 2020, the UAE ordered 50 F-35s and 18 MQ-8 Reaper drones for $23 billion. Abu Dhabi insists the Rafale deal is not a replacement for the F-35. However, shortly after the French deal was signed, the UAE said it was suspending discussions on acquiring the F-35. Technical requirements, sovereign operational restrictions and cost-benefit analysis are leading to a reassessment, a UAE official told Reuters. Discussions, the official added, may reopen in the future. This could be a negotiating tactic on the part of Abu Dhabi to get Washington to ease some of the conditions and restrictions surrounding the procurement of fifth-generation aircraft. UAE is unlikely to procure the F-35 until the second half of the 2020s at the earliest. If it ultimately decides to pull out of the deal altogether, it will likely not acquire a fifth-generation fighter until sometime in the 2030s. Between now and then, he will field one of the most advanced 4.5-generation fighters on the market that is likely to give the Air Force a technological advantage over the various threats it may face in the future. Therefore, it is not at all surprising that Ankara is currently seeking 80 advanced Block 70 F-16s from the United States along with 80 modernization kits to upgrade existing aircraft in the $6 billion deal. The Block 70 F-16 would be an ideal interim option for Ankara as it has operated the F-16 since 1987, with the third largest fighter-bomber fleet on the planet. Furthermore, the F-16 Block 70 includes fifth-generation technology developed for the F-35. According to manufacturer Lockheed Martin LMT plus 1%, the Block 70 inches combines capability upgrades, particularly an advanced active electronically scanned array, AESA radar with a new avionics architecture, and structural improvements to extend the aircraft's structural life by more than 50% over previous production F-16 planes. Operational capability is enhanced through advanced data links, targeting pods and weapons, precision GPS navigation, and the life-saving automatic ground collision avoidance system, AUTO GCAS. Turkey may not get this plane anytime soon if Congress opposes the deal, which is a very strong possibility. Turkey has repeatedly suggested that it will turn to Russia for comparative aircraft if Washington refuses to sell the modernized F-16. Here too, the options are limited. Ankara may select a number of 4.5-generation Su-35 Flanker S from Moscow, but it would mean additional sanctions from the United States under the Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions, CAATSA. Turkish Ministry of Defense and State Procurement Agency reportedly compiled a technical report on Russian jets. Both reports found that Russian warplanes were technically insufficient and very expensive due to Ankara's need to adapt to Russian systems. Breaking Defense reported in October. As a result, Turkey could find itself in an awkward position if Washington decides to make a bluff to buy Russian warplanes. It could also find its Air Force facing a precarious situation if it cannot follow in the footsteps of the UAE and acquire a capable 4.5-generation replacement fighter in the near future.